Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Insu-RANTS podcast. I'm Joe Trinidad, and I've spent years in the insurance game, and trust me, I've seen some wild stuff. This show is all about those funny, unbelievable, and straight-up ridiculous moments that happen behind the scenes in the world of insurance. Whether you're an adjuster, an underwriter, or just someone who's ever filed a claim and thought, what the hell just happened? You're in the right place. So, sit back, relax, or better yet, brace yourself, because it's time to rant, laugh, and maybe learn a little. So welcome to Insu-RANTS. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Insu-RANTS. Thanks for stopping by. Today, we're going to start the first segment on some really crazy stuff because this is our very first podcast, and we're here on the 5th of July, so it's the 4th of July weekend. And I thought it was very fitting to start this segment off with some 4th of July shenanigans. So the first story I would like to share with you guys in the first segment is something I like to call fireworks, fried chicken, and a claim for freedom damage. This is a claim that came out for fire damage on July 4th, somewhere in Georgia. And this is how the story goes, okay? On the 4th of July, around 8:15 p.m., there was a homeowner that had called the claims line in a full-blown panic, all right? His voice was shaky, but weirdly proud. Here's how it went down. He and his buddies were celebrating freedom the right way, as he put it. Grilling ribs, blasting country music, and launching fireworks all at the same time. Isn't that crazy? Just, what do you focus on? Now, this is where the problem was, okay? They ran out of proper launch tubes. You know how that goes. So naturally, one of the friends thought, hey, it was a genius idea to use the grease-filled deep fryer as a firework launcher. Why? Because it was metal and open at the top. That was a great reason to go ahead and put fireworks in grease-filled deep fryers. This is awesome. Now, check this out. What they did was they dropped a Roman candle in the fryer, and then they counted down, and then boom! Instead of going up, it blew hot grease and sparks all over the back porch. What happened? Fire broke out. Duh. On the wood deck, and then it melted part of the siding. It scorched the patio furniture and left the yard looking like a small war zone. That's one way to get the 4th of July popping. Now, the best part? He wanted to include the destroyed fried chicken in the claim. Like, he literally said, that was at least 12 wings in there. That's food loss. I paid premiums. Have you ever heard of something so crazy in your life? Somebody's out there doing something so stupid, right? You're putting Roman candles, right? Roman candles are made to be put in bottles or certain different types of containers that you actually set on the floor and then you shoot it out. I get it. You found a place to where you can be able to shoot something out of. That's very simple. But did you realize that grease is like flammable? Maybe not. Okay, maybe people don't realize that if you put fire to grease, it's gonna be on fire because it's got oil and it's got stuff that is able to burn. And what happens? There's gonna be a combustion explosion if you have a firework inside of grease. It's insane. So, as much as they really wanted to have a good time, they blew that piece up. They made everything crazy. So their 4th of July not only ended up with more money, which I'm sure that happened anyway, whether the claim was covered or not, doesn't even matter. And they had messed up wings at the same time. Isn't that crazy? Man, you messed the whole barbecue up just because you wanted to shoot some Roman candles? And those are some whack-ass damn fireworks in the first place. Why don't you get some of them things that just pop off in the sky that's big enough, that just shoot up in the sky and make some they'd come by itself and they'd shoot their own. You just kind of light up the wick and they just blow it up and pop it up. Why are you going to get some sorry ass Roman candles and then you're going to put it in a grease trap? It's crazy. All right, let's get into some of the adjusted notes. All right, this is what they claimed was the cause. Acts of patriotism gone sideways. And the damage, check it out. This is the damage they documented. The siding, the deck, patio furniture, grill, back door, the screen, and yes, a Tupperware container of baked beans. Can you believe that? It was denied the food reimbursement, obviously. The fire damage was covered, but a surcharge was added and the policy was flagged for high-risk celebratory behavior. That sounds like exactly what it should have been. Now, you ever celebrate America so hard you deep fried your own patio? Let me know, because this guy did and then had the nerve to ask for reimbursement for the wings. I can't make this stuff up. All right, let's move on. Let's get to the next story. Now, this story is pretty funny. Let me tell you this one. All right, this one's a story that I like to call the rocket that took out the neighbor's inflatable bald eagle. All right, this is a liability claim, and it was for property damage. It was on the 4th of July. That's the theme that we got going here. And it was somewhere in the Texas suburbs. So this is the story. Late on the 4th, a policyholder was launching DIY fireworks in his driveway with what he calls some friends from the garage. And let me tell you, it wasn't a well-planned show, because we're talking about PVC pipe launchers taped to beer boxes and fuses lit with a grill lighter. Those combinations will never go well. Now, one rocket, a big boy, $30 from a roadside stand called Boom Daddies, it misfired sideways. It skipped across the street and then exploded midair right into the center of the neighbor's 10-foot inflatable bald eagle display. Now, the eagle didn't stand a chance, let me tell you. The blast knocked it clean off its base, lit the corner of the flag-themed cape on fire, and deflated it with a sad wheeze, like... that the neighbor described in their claim as un-American and disrespectful to the troops. And to make matters worse, the neighbor had just bought the eagle for $300, $299.99 at Sam's Club. And they were hosting the neighborhood cookout and now had to explain to guests why freedom was lying flat on the lawn with its beak melted. This is exactly what the insured said. He said, I didn't even think it would aim that way. I used the box to level it. This is insane. He used a cardboard box to level this rocket that he didn't even know which way it was actually going to go, regardless of the situation. This is hilarious. Why do people do this? Why don't you just sit down? Just go sit down. What? Okay, I'm sure there are plenty of like cities out there, like I think almost all of them, especially the major ones, right? You could go and watch the fireworks, all right? It'll be a spectacular thing. Like, you're going to be able to see some, everything. It's going to be beautiful. But when you think you could do it, think twice sometimes. Because listen, I've shot off fireworks, a lot of them, big ones. Me and my homies do it all the time. We do it, but we do it respectfully. We do it so often we know exactly how to do it. So we don't really make a problem. There's no problem in this situation. We even have cleanup and everything ready to go right after. But, some people, they start getting crafty. They try to be like MacGyver. And you can't be MacGyver with fireworks. And then when you add alcohol, You got people like, yo, man, let me tell you something. I know exactly what to do. We're going to set up some PVC pipes in this mug, and we're going to lead them on some beer can boxes, and it's on. You guys need to really check yourselves. Be very careful. 4th of July is no joke, people. This is just a disclaimer. Funny things that happen, but this is a disclaimer. 4th of July, please be very responsible and be very careful. Fireworks are no joke. All right. Let's move on to the adjuster notes. Now, it was confirmed that it was property damage caused by firework. Now, the claim was approved, so the liability was paid out for the inflatable replacement and also the lawn scorched marks. But he was flagged for future fireworks clause exclusion on his renewal. So that was a given. You know that was going to happen. They're going to be watching him for sure. And like I said, that's a very funny way to, set off the neighborhood cookout with a melted a melted bald eagle. So hilarious. Very funny. All right. Now let's get into story 3, which will close out this segment. By the way, this segment is actually called Claiming America, 4th of July Gone Wrong. I meant to say that in the beginning, but I was too anxious, and this is my first podcast, so I hope please forgive me. Okay? Let me give you a little context. This is the story. This is the third story in this segment, the last story that we're going to close out with. And this is a story I call Trampoline Launch Catastrophe, featuring an uninsured cousin. Okay? Now, this was a bodily injury, property damage as well. They attempted for the bodily injury, and we'll talk about the property damage later. Of course, this is on 4th of July in North Carolina. Now, this is important to know. The claimant was the policyholder's cousin. Okay? Now, just to give you a little more context, the carrier notes goes as such. Claim initiated by non-policyholder family member, not listed on the policy, involved alcohol, a trampoline, and a Roman candle. Now, we all know that claims notes, they vary. This is pretty specific and generic at the same time, but you get a gist of what's going on in this situation. So this is how the story goes. Around 9 p.m. on the 4th of July, a family barbecue turned chaotic when an uninvited cousin, and we'll call him Ray, okay, he decided to put on a special stunt show. I don't know how old this person is. I haven't looked far or looked deep enough to figure out whether this person was a grown adult or a child. They're named as a cousin, but when you do a special stunt show, that means you got. I don't know. I don't know. I got to think about that. I don't know what that means. Now, he placed a folding chair in the middle of the trampoline. He messed up right there. Wait a minute. He put a freaking folding chair on a trampoline. That means it's got to be a big trampoline, right? Let me say it again. He put a folding chair in the middle of a trampoline. Then he climbed up with a lit. It's already lit. Lit. He climbed up. Lit. He didn't even sit and then light. This dude climbed up with a lit Roman candle in one hand and a can of Modelo. I knew it. Oh my God, I knew it. I knew this had to do with a little bit of alcohol, because in his other hand, he had a can of Modelo. And then he screamed, "This one's for freedom and family." I don't know. I don't even know if he sounded like that, but I thought that's how it would sound. Then he then had two kids bounce him into the air like a human bottle rocket. I am not playing. This is the way the story goes. He had two kids bounce him in the air. Okay? And mid-air, the Roman candle shot sideways. And it struck the house's vinyl siding, the trampoline netting, a decorative wooden pelican, and part of Aunt Kathy's wig, which was safely recovered but forever changed. Now, this is funny. This is where the claim happened. This is where the claim came in. Ray landed awkwardly. He rolled off the trampoline and called the next day to file the claim for injuries and damaged personal items. Okay, all right, let's move on to the claim outcome. All right, so now Ray was not listed on the policy, and the trampoline was excluded due to a prior underwriting note. Aww. And also, firework-related losses were not covered due to a reckless activity clause. Now, the siding damage was noted, I should say, but not filed by the homeowner who claimed, "Hey, we ain't telling nobody. We just gonna repay." So I guess that's how he kind of told them. So let's move on to the next segment. Now, this is a segment that I like to call the Rant Zone. Now, why does every policyholder think they're a claims expert? And wait, this is all until they burn down their porch. You know what I'm saying? Now, listen, look, I get it. You pay premiums, you expect coverage, cool. But some of y'all out there trying to file claims like you're starring in some CSI Backyard Edition. You deep fry fireworks on a wooden deck. What the hell is that? Don't tell nobody. Then you burn the siding of your house and then hit us with, "Oh, I didn't understand why I wouldn't be covered. I'm a homeowner." Man, no. What you are is a fire hazard with a grill, lighter, and a beer in your hand. You can't buy a six-pack, build a launch tube out of gutter scrap, and then play dumb when the bald eagle in your neighbor's yard gets incinerated. And don't even get me started on that cousin who ain't on the policy but wants a payout for the burnt air in his lungs after launching off a trampoline in some Walmart swim trunk. It's crazy. You guys need to educate yourselves. That is the most important thing you need to do. When you're dealing with insurance, you either get an agent that you feel is competent enough to handle your business in insurance, or you get yourself educated. Now, I would tell you to do the latter. The latter will give you more knowledge, and knowledge is power. And the more you understand and the more you know, the less you get disappointed. So do your homework, look into insurance policies, and try to do it correctly. Because then it's just going to be claims like this, where the 4th of July is going to suck, and you got a bald eagle that's on fire. It's pretty crazy. Let me get them wings. That's what the insured said. Let me get them wings. Let's talk about another thing. Fireworks aren't covered just because you're patriotic. Let me explain something real quick. Your deductible does not get waived just because it's Independence Day. I've had people hit the line talking about, "This is an American holiday. Y'all should be helping me out more." Bro, what? You use an upside-down Home Depot bucket as a launch pad and blew the neighbor's solar panels off the roof. What part of that sounds like we got you to an insurance company? Let me be clear. Just because you wore red, white, and blue flip flops and played Toby Keith doesn't mean the laws of insurance don't apply. Matter of fact, if your claim includes the words, "we just wanted to make it go boom," I'm already typing denied in your notes. It's very simple. Listen, if you do your insurance claims correctly, like I understand, like I said before, I get it. You want money because you done messed up. Now, there's nothing in an insurance policy that talks about I'll cover you when you done messed up. Now, that does happen in some cases with property damage liability. Obviously, if you are liable for a loss, then liability will cover you. However, there ain't nothing that says that if you done set off some fireworks at your house that you're going to get covered. Learn your insurance. This is what I just said. Learn your insurance. You'll be very well off knowing and understanding how it operates before things happen so you don't get disappointed. It's very important. Very important. Y'all need to stop this BS because it should not happen. Now, listen, man. You can't file a claim on your ego. You understand? Listen, here's the thing. This is the thing that y'all don't get. Embarrassment is never, no, wait, let me say, never covered as a loss. Okay? If you jump off of your own roof into a kiddie pool, sprain your dignity, and call out talking about, is there a way to get something for this? I feel like the deck shifted. Yes, it did. It shifted. It shifted away from you in disappointment. Listen, every year somebody tries to act like their personal failure is a structural collapse. Okay, because it's a collapse. Okay, if your cousin belly flopped into your fence because he lost a dare, that's not a windstorm, bro. That's karma in cargo shorts. Now listen, just because your house got smoked by stupidity doesn't mean you're cutting a check. Okay? And don't try to sneak the party cooler into the claim either. That ain't loss of use. That's loss of common sense. So get it right or get it wrong. So it's so crazy how stupid these things happen. You know what I mean? It's crazy. All right. Now, before I wrap this episode up, I got to take y'all to the part of the show where my brain usually just short circuits. Listen, you ever hear something so dumb and so petty, so wild, that you stop mid-stroke and say, did that just happen? Because that's exactly what I said on this next one. So picture this, right? It's Friday afternoon at 2:12 p.m. That's a very important, very important time. So keep that in mind. This guy, he calls in very smooth, very cheerful, very polite. He's just bought a $12,000 engagement ring. And all he wants to do is just add it to his homeowner's policy as a scheduled item. He's got the receipt, the appraised value. He's ready to lock it in like he just found that one. Now, that's all cool, right? The rep gets it processed. The ring was added. The policy was updated. No issues, right? Then, and I'm not exaggerating whatsoever, at 2:24 p.m., remember, I'm an important time frame, 2:12 p.m., and at 2:24 p.m., this man calls back. Same guy, same voice, but now He's breathing heavy, like he just ran through a breakup montage. Like, and he goes, hey, yeah, I need to file a claim. The ring is gone. The rep's like, wait, hold on. Are you talking about the same ring you just added 12 minutes ago? And this man, with the confidence of someone who just learned the rules 15 minutes ago, says, yeah, she left, took the ring, blocked me. So that's theft, right? Y'all cover that, right? Bruh, I'm sorry, but you don't get to insure your ego. And you definitely don't get to claim it after she hits you with the "it's not you, it's me" and the block button. That's not a theft claim. There's an emotional damage claim.
Emotional damage.
And unfortunately for you, we don't cover L's in love. That's a personal policy. You're going to have to self-insure your heart, my brother. Now, so yeah, did this just happen? Oh, it did. And that's why I keep this segment locked and loaded every week. Because in the world of insurance, if common sense had a deductible, we all be broke. And that right there is how we're closing out the first official episode of Insurance. We've covered backyard explosions, deep fried denial, airborne trampolines, and a brother trying to finesse the heartbreak claim of the decade. Now look, insurance may be boring on paper, but people are creative. And occasionally, they're criminal. If you enjoyed the ride, subscribe, leave a rating, and share this episode with someone who's ever tried to explain what acts of God actually means. Got a story that made you say, did this just actually happen? Well, just send it in. I might just feature it on the next episode and give it the roast it deserves. Until next time, stay covered, stay cautious, and if you're holding a Roman candle while standing on a trampoline, please don't file a claim. File a life decision. Peace.